tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
Right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Sunday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's get ready to get into it. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Now, before we get started, let's have a brief word from our sponsor at C0pz.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells a beard oil. If you're a member of the channel and you didn't tune in today for True Crime Sundays Members Only Live, please be sure to check that out at your leisure, okay, because it was really interesting. We talked about Ahmadiyyah Shakur, the Brinks robbery from 1981 that cost him to be convicted for 60 years. Very interesting, okay, so make sure you check that out. Also, if you missed the video that I did this morning, or this afternoon about Al Sharpton, where I exposed him, how he tried to set up Assata Shakur allegedly. Please check that out too at your leisure. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get into it. We have a lot to cover, and I don't want to be here late, okay, because I'm still tired. All right, so first off, let's talk about this shooting at this college football game. Now, 2 shot dead and a dozen injured, including children, after a brawl erupted over a football game. So 2 people have been shot dead and at least 14 injured. Okay, now they're calling this a mass shooting in Alabama. As I told you earlier, it doesn't sound like a mass shooting to me. It sounds like some ignorant people just doing too much. So the incident unfolded at 11:30 p.m. on Saturday evening in the city of Montgomery after a football game between Tuskegee University and Morehouse College. So according to Montgomery Police Chief James Grayboys, the shooting unfolded near the intersection of Bibb and Commerce Streets. He said the shots were let off after a brawl between 2 rival groups in the downtown area. Grayboys told reporters saying that this was 2 parties involved that were basically shooting at each other in the middle of a crowd. And see, this is the thing. This is why this is not a mass shooting. I don't know why they called it that. This would be more like gang violence or something like that. Okay, because mass shooting is usually random. They just come and start shooting up people. If these are people shooting at each other, I would not call that a mass shooting. But like I said earlier, that I think they call it that because it happened at, during these HBCU's football game, and there's not ever that I can recall been a mass shooting at an HBCU. And in fact, I find it interesting because I literally just said that last week. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue. So anyway, they go on to say that there was 2 rival groups. So they did not care about the people around them when they did it. We will do everything we need to gather every bit of evidence to chase down whoever is involved. Well, I hope they catch him because clearly they have no respect for human life. I mean, just shooting bullets in a crowd of people, that is so ignorant. And anyone who acts that recklessly needs to be under the jail. That's just my opinion. Okay, I don't care who they are. So anyway, goes on to say that an adult woman was amongst those killed and 2 juveniles were injured in the shooting. One of them suffered life-threatening injuries, according to police. Now, the cops confirmed that 3 victims are in a life-threatening condition and 9 suffered non-life-threatening injuries during the shooting. So the identities of those shot or the suspects have yet to be released by officials. Tina McGriff with the Montgomery Police Department said, in total, 3 victims remain in serious condition and 9 sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Detectives are actively pursuing leads and reviewing evidence, including witness statements and surveillance footage. They said, we're urging anyone with information related to this incident to come forward. Even the smallest detail could be critical to helping investigators identify those responsible. That comes after 2 children were shot and killed, while 2 others were injured after an early morning shooting in Texas on Saturday. According to the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office, 2 kids aged 13 and 4 were fatally shot, with 2 others aged 8 and 9 transported by air ambulance in critical condition. This is so sad. I hate to hear things like this happening to children. They're so sweet and innocent, and they don't have anything to do with anything. Okay, and they just get caught in the line of fire sometimes. Now, investigators say that an adult woman has since been taken into custody. Her relationship to the children remains unclear. So that's a whole nother shooting. Okay, so 2 tragic shootings. Okay, 2 tragic shootings. And we've been having so many. This is just ridiculous. Okay, this is so ridiculous. What is going on with the United States and all these shootings? I mean, gun violence seems to be at an all-time high, if you ask the Queen. So with that all being said, now let's talk about Kyren Lacy. Because this young man is no longer amongst us, and now evidence comes out. Basically, evidence has come out that his lawyer released, showing that, the police basically framed him. Now, this officer is on video telling this man what to write in his report. They're not supposed to do that. If he were in court, they call it leading the witness. Okay? And the way he was talking to the guy, you could tell that he's trying to get him to put things in the report that go against Kyren, and that basically the man didn't really want to do it, but seems like he felt obligated, you know. So anyway, I'm going to show the video footage. Let's get into it. Yeah, it is really sad, and people had so much to say about this poor kid. There was a guy at Barstool Jokes or something like that on Twitter, and he made a comment about it, made a post, you know, clowning him, said, "Oh, he said that he put up since he was wanted for homicide, he said he made a picture of Kyren with holding a gun, and then he said somebody called him racist, and he said he was like, go figure. He said you just gotta laugh. So someone tagged his establishment that he works in, right, with that same post that he posted, and basically said, is this guy going to get any consequences? Because he contributed to the lies and disinformation spread that caused this young man to no longer be here, basically. And so then the guy starts apologizing. He's like, oh, I've already apologized for that. I'm so sorry. I've admitted that I'm wrong and this, that. First of all, see, this is why people need not jump to conclusions. Okay, just because someone is charged with a crime doesn't mean that they committed said crime. Just because somebody is charged with something, there's an allegation, doesn't mean the person did it. See, some people just jump the gun and just want to start saying things. And then why are you even joking with somebody, you know, like poking fun, making a picture with him holding a gun? Because nothing about that's funny. Okay, it just goes the sick mind of these people. And then he wants to come and apologize. No, keep your apology, sir. It isn't wanted. Okay, it isn't wanted. Now let's go to the videos that his attorney released today or a few days ago. Here we go.
Yeah, so what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did, in fact, pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacy getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter, their investigations. And in that investigation.
So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, your address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, you know, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. You know that you just.
All right, maybe my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, like, you know, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't scared my car, because I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? Right. And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over.
Now, how low down was that? And here's the thing. He said, we're trying to locate this charger right now. Now, did they know that was Kyren Lacy's charger? They probably did, because I'm sure he was well known there. Probably did, just trying to ruin this young man's life. Now, Sierra asked an interesting question and a good question. I'm so confused. Were they waiting to release this during court? Well, yeah, probably so, beloved. Okay, after they've already charged him, he's already lost all of his, his opportunities to go to the NFL, gotten kicked off the team, and all of that. After they've ruined his life, and everybody's already painted him as innocent or as guilty in the court of public opinion. Okay, that's what that looks like. And see, this is the thing. We need to stop being so quick to rush to judgment and paint people as guilty when the facts have not even yet come out. Okay? When the facts have not even come out. Because they flat out lied. And this is the police that lied. Now, if the police lie about things like this, you should surely know that they lie about things like the Trey Reed case. Okay, this is absolutely nefarious, and there's no excuse for it whatsoever. It seems to me that whoever that officer was just wanted to frame that young man and ruin his life. And I think that's exactly what it was. Let me tell you all something. They have some dirty, low down cops in Louisiana, honey. Okay, I've done stories on them. And in each story that I did over the past 5 years that I've been on this channel, they were always lying and making up whole stories on people who look like me. And that's a fact. Okay, that's a fact. So anyway, former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy died of an apparent, we know how he died, in April, 2 days before a grand jury was expected to begin hearing evidence regarding a fatal December car accident. So just 2 days before the grand jury was going to hear the evidence. Now, Lacy's lawyer is now showing a new report and new evidence that he claims cements the athlete's innocence. Now, at the time of his death, the 24-year-old NFL hopeful was facing felony charges stemming from a December 17th car accident that killed a former Marine, Herman Hall, age 78, after allegedly fleeing the scene without rendering aid or calling authorities. I mean, they made him sound so nefarious. Okay, they made him sound so nefarious. All right. Now, after allegedly fleeing the scene without rendering aid or calling authorities, okay, the Louisiana native was charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. The charges came after the Louisiana State Police, LSP, said Lacy recklessly passed multiple vehicles at a high rate of speed, resulting in the crash that led to Hall's death. Now, LSP troopers previously said the driver of a vehicle abruptly braked and swerved to avoid a collision with an approaching Dodge Charger, believed to be driven by the late athletes. All lies. That man said he wasn't even driving fast, so he had no reason to swerve or slam on his brakes. But still, the officer suggested and insisted that he put that in his report. Okay? And then said he's going to read over and then he'll leave. So anyway, this is all so sad. So with that all being said, the charges came after the Louisiana State Patrol said he recklessly, okay, I read that. On Friday, October the 3rd, Lacy's defense attorney, Matt Orby, appeared on Louisiana television station HTV-10 to share new information about the accident and to dispute the claim that Lacy caused the crash. Now, Orby pushed back on the LSP's investigation, citing a report from the La Forche Parish District Attorney's Office, as well as footage of the December 17th crash. They probably thought that this was never going to get found out because he's no longer here. Is that what they were thinking? So the footage, the attorney claims to HTV's Martin Foss, shows that Lacy's green Dodge Charger arrived on the scene after the collision that resulted in Hall's death. Now, at the time of the crash, Lacy's vehicle was over 72 yards behind the other vehicles, okay, according to his attorney, citing the report from the district attorney's office. And see, here's the thing. This man used the report that they did, the police. So they can't try to say, oh, somebody doctored it. Oh, they made it to paint a narrative or whatever. No, that's their people that came up with that information. Okay? That's their people that came up with that information. So you can't say anything about that. So anyway, it says that The attorney also told Folse that the driver of the vehicle that fatally struck Hall allegedly told authorities that she had actually swerved to avoid a gold truck, not Lacy's Charger, as was previously reported. So lies all the way around, just blatant lies. Okay, no truth anywhere in sight. Lacy did not pass 4 people illegally in a no passing zone. This is what the lawyer later clarified, but he was not actively passing any vehicles at the time of the collision. Now, the report cited also stated while speaking with the lawyer cited also while speaking with a state trooper that the driver that struck Hall's vehicle made several statements that don't even match the submitted report or the written statement. And instead of questioning her, the trooper attempted to recap what she was saying, which seems to contradict her own statements. Are y'all paying attention? Now, among other claims, the attorney also told Folse that a state trooper failed to report part of his conversation with the man who drove the gold truck with his body camera. And when he he instructed the driver, at least in part, about what to say in his written statement. Now, in body cam footage that was provided by the attorney, the gold truck's driver said the woman driving the car behind him caused the wreck after pulling into the other lane to avoid colliding with the back of the truck. The same driver's final statement contradicts what he told the trooper in the footage. This is what the attorney argued. He also claimed that there was another passenger in Lacy's car who troopers were unaware of, but never questioned about the December 17th incident. So someone else was in the car and they didn't even bother to question them because they only wanted to paint their own narrative, which was one made of a foundation of lies and baseless claims. He says they knew. Okay, the attorney says they knew. Okay, they have video footage of this individual getting out of the car. Why didn't you ascertain his identity? Why would you not want to hear the person with one of the best views of this incident? Because they didn't want the truth. The truth didn't fit the narrative. The district attorney's report, as cited by the attorney, concludes that the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyren Lacy should have known that his actions were the cause of the crash that happened approximately 72 yards in front of him. And at no point in time did he have to slam his brakes. He wasn't even close to the second car. He just eased in. He eased in, the lawyer says, adding that the athlete went straight from there to football practice. But he had no idea he caused this accident because he didn't think he caused the accident. Okay? And he didn't cause the accident. Lacy was found dead. He was found dead from a gunshot wound on April the 12th after leading Houston area police on a chase that day. Okay, this is according to the Harris County Sheriff's Office. About a half an hour earlier, deputies with the department responded to a weapons disturbance call after a female family member alerted authorities that Lacy had allegedly been involved in a verbal argument with her and had discharged a firearm into the ground. When deputies arrived, they learned Lacy had fled the scene. Authorities were able to locate his vehicle and attempted to make a traffic stop when Lacy led them on a pursuit before crashing his car. The sheriff's office added that preliminary information indicates that Lacy, well, we already know the rest of what he did after that, okay, prior to his vehicle crashing. So, this is just really a sad story that didn't even have to happen. And, I would have to say that on the day that he got upset and got into the argument and fled the home or whatever, that young man was probably having a mental breakdown. Okay? He was probably having a mental breakdown. Like, just think about that. He had all of this going for himself. He had so much to look forward to. And then, bam, out of nowhere, this hits him like a ton of bricks. He has no idea how or why he's been charged in this. Didn't have any idea of anything that he could have possibly done wrong. But here he is. And then they're saying he's going to be indicted in 2 days. Everything is falling apart. His mental health Had to be stressed out. This is so sad. May he rest in peace. Prayers and condolences to his family. I hope that the people involved in this framing of him and telling these lies and withholding this evidence, I hope they get exactly what's coming to them. And by the way, someone said they hope the family sues. Of course they're going to sue. That's why they have a lawyer. And that's why that lawyer's putting out this evidence. He's not doing this for just to be nice. He's definitely going to sue them. That's what this is all for. That's what this is all for. This is all so sad, honey, at the end of the day. And you know, it just goes to show how they can just tell a lie on a person who looks like me, and that lie will stick. Okay? That lie will absolutely stick. And people will just say all sorts of things and condemn you before you ever even have your day in court. Okay? Really sad. It really is. So anyway, with that all being said, let me see something here. Okay, because this is a whole bunch of information right here. OG Patrice, you sent me this. I'm gonna go to this update here. I'm definitely not gonna play this whole thing because this is like 45 minutes, and honey, I definitely don't have time because I have other stories to talk about. But I'll show some more of what the attorney had to say. Okay, likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Because this isn't my video, I'm going to put an overlay on here.
This segment is brought to you.
Mr. Lacy and Mr. Hall.
Okay.
This is the gold truck that's referenced in the report. This is heading north. So this is the lead vehicle heading north. And the vehicle that actually collided with Mr. Hall's vehicle, that would be vehicle 2. All right. So through the course of this, now we start investigating and dissecting everything we possibly can. Mm-hmm. When we do, back in his lane behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. Data. Tailgating at 49.6 miles an hour, 0.5 seconds behind the gold truck, 1.5 seconds before the crash. So again, if that did make sense, she is following 0.5 seconds behind this vehicle, 0.5 seconds behind that vehicle, 1.5 seconds before the crash at over 49 miles an hour. 0.5. That's what happens when you tailgate. Now, interestingly enough, this vehicle was actually, when this woman was in the ambulance, they issued her a ticket. All right. You know for what? Take a wild guess. Following too close. They even told her it's in your personal belongings.
You know what I thought he was going to say? I thought he was going to say they gave her a ticket for improper lane change because she swerved into the other lane to avoid hitting the gold truck. That's what I would have thought. But here's the thing. This is all interesting because that's all she got was one ticket. Okay, but they knew that she was the cause of it. So now what? Is she going to get the charges that Kyren was facing? Likely not. Okay, likely not. And you know, here's another thing too. That lady must not be somebody who looks like me. Is that why they wanted to blame it on him? Blame it on the black person. Because you know that happens a lot here. I've told you all this 1,000 times. Whatever happens, you know, they just can blame it on one of us, okay? So they can get off scot-free. Is that how it all went down? Because it may have been.
Fast forward. Another trooper comes and is looking for that particular ticket. And that ticket, they told her, something may happen to the ticket, don't worry about it. Sure enough, something happened to that ticket down the road, right? The ticket now needs to fit a better narrative. And that ticket now says, crossing left of center. Why? Why? The black box is telling me. The data from the district attorney's office tells me you're traveling 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour, 1.5 seconds before the accident. That's not tailgating. Now, what we're looking at, this isn't speculation. Through this, we hear there's story after story. Actually, vehicle 2's story got bigger and bigger and bigger until we now have their data, right? So when we get our hands on it, I'm looking at the data from that particular vehicle. That data in that vehicle shows me 5 seconds previous to this crash. 5. I'm looking at it, and you're going to show it. 5 seconds previous to this crash, she maintained a speed of 49.6 miles an hour, never activating the EBS system until 0.5 seconds before the crash. Why is that important? Because if your story, which we'll get into, keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you had all this time to see the gold truck, in her words, stomp on their brakes, slam on their brakes, come to a stop, veer off the road. I see another vehicle approaching. I see the Charger approaching. Well, my question to you now becomes, how did you see that vehicle approaching, or him stop, or him slam on his brakes, yet your data says you never touched your brake prior to 0.5 seconds before that crash? I'm looking right now. So are you at the last 5 seconds, according to her. Her car's black box, not mine, not my expert. That's her car. So if you're going to tell me a 5 to 10 second elaborate story, it needs to make sense. And when you have the data, not only doesn't it add up, it's not possible. Notice on there, Martin, it says 75 degrees, right? You turn 75 degrees to the left all of a sudden. That's what happens when you tailgate. Now, interestingly enough, this vehicle was actually, when this woman was in the ambulance, they issued her a ticket. All right. You know for what? Take a wild guess. Following too close. Data from the district attorney's office tells me you're traveling 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour, 1.5 seconds before the accident. That's not tailgating?
She was definitely following too close. That's why they gave her that ticket. That's why they gave her that ticket. I didn't know she was that darn close. Okay, and then she's talking about she saw him slam on the brakes and all of that. Lady, now is she going to jail because she absolutely should? Okay, she absolutely should. You know, and here's the thing. No matter who the other driver was, I think that they knew who Kyren was and wanted to just ruin his life, because that's what they do down there in Louisiana. If y'all don't believe me, just do your research, okay? I promise you, that's what a lot of those cops down there do. And I think they're probably hating on that young man because he was an NFL prospect. You know, he had a career ahead of himself. He was going to be big at the end of the day. And so with that all being said, I think they just wanted to just ruin his life. And it's so interesting because they don't mind ruining our lives and they'll purposely even try to. But when you have somebody like Brock Peterson, they don't want to ruin his life. He was in college and he was on the swim team or something, right? So let's not even send him to jail for what he did. And he literally did a whole crime, a felonious one at that. But this young black man committed no crime. And now he's no longer among the living because they lied on him, framed him, and just made up a whole story. This is all crazy. But let me fast forward because I need to move on.
Vehicle 2 made several statements that do not match the submitted report or written statement. Instead of questioning Vehicle 2 for more details, a trooper attempted to recap what she was saying, which seems to contradict her statements. While doing this, the trooper is the first to talk about the gold truck swerving off to the right. Then when it came to obtaining the written statement, the trooper tells Vehicle 2 what to document on the statement as she is writing.
I have two questions here. One, I'd like to know more about the statement that she made to the trooper. The other one would be, do we have any data on the gold truck?
2.99 seconds before the gold truck eases off to the road, eases off of the road.
Right.
He's traveling at 28 miles an hour.
Right.
That all is in this report.
Yeah, that's my question.
You watch someone slam on their brakes. You watch them stop. You watched a car chart coming at you in your lane of traffic, but you never thought to just tap the brakes? Really? No. Data is accurate. The black box is accurate. that says that you never touched your brakes. You never touch your brakes in the last 5 seconds until 0.5 seconds before the impact. That's their data. It's not mine.
Proceed. What did you find out after that?
So what I was curious about here, most importantly to me, in terms of the oncoming traffic, right? So I'm looking at that gold truck. I want to know what they said, when they said it, what were the circumstances, how did this come about? And this is where it really starts tying together, right? The gold truck, they end up getting a statement from this individual. There's two of them. The very first one, what I noticed on the body cam was that the conversation was going on for 4 minutes and approximately 30 seconds prior to the body cam being activated. And of course, when the body cam's activated, I don't know what you said those previous 4.5 minutes, they end up at this individual's house to obtain a statement. I want to play right now how that statement started.
Okay, let's roll that in.
All right, sir. So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
So Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, me and my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? Right. And that's why you had to slam on your brake, head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness, who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And not in it.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the Gold Truck.
This is the Gold Truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is Gold Truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him. And where it says signed, it's not signed. It's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast. We know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused? I got a problem. I got a problem with that. A big one. What he's saying is she had to avoid hitting him. He specifically stated she caused that accident. But I've got an affidavit for arrest warrant right here. Nowhere in here does it say anything that you guys just saw on body cam. To the contrary, about that vehicle, it says the gold truck took evasive action by emergency braking and driving off the roadway to avoid a head-on crash. But you just heard he said, I wasn't even going fast. I didn't even skid mark. So what emergency braking are we referring to here? And what the hell was the point of this report? That is complete opposite. I would expect that you'll show this to where they can read what was said versus what was written just minutes earlier.
Just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, like, you know, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here. Okay.
By the way, the body cam wasn't on for this statement. It was turned off before obtaining this statement. And this is what we get back in the file. This. Remember, Kyren passed. I'll just put X's. This is where Kyren passed, right? He comes here, he passes. He gets back in his lane. Don't you know that one of these witnesses that's in this package actually says in his statement that the charger passed through the vehicle of Mr. Hall and the gold truck and vehicle 2, and then they collided. I can't make this up. This is what people just don't get to see. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not saying this intentional. I'm saying people commit to a story and they don't back down. You saw it here, but I'm telling you, you guys saw a video. You just saw a statement where somebody tells them what to say. They tell them that's not what happened. They still give me the statement. And now I got another individual who we won't harp into here because it's so uncredible, right? That one individual, one of the 4 individuals here, they say that they were going 30 to 35 miles an hour when Kyren passed him. He did. There's no disputing that. No one ever did, but he was back in his lane of travel. 92.3 yards back in, 72.6 at the time of impact. When they collide, he is 72.6. Before they collide, he is almost a football field away back in his lane. That's not disputed. What you can see is another car come to a stop, and then Kyren Lacy come to a stop. But you know what's really interesting to me as well is that there was another passenger in Kyren Lacy's car. They knew this. They have video footage of this individual getting out of the car. Why didn't you ascertain his identity? Why would you not want to hear the person with one of the best views of this incident? Why would you make a call? Why would you simply not bring him in for questioning?
And I'm sure you talked to him after.
Of course, I talked to him after. It's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they said. Mm-hmm. They actually thought at one point in time that she collided with the gold truck. That's the very first thing they told me, that they thought that this vehicle 2, was trying to get around the 2, as in slide between them, as in, uh-oh. You know, so you can see why. This is just amazing now, what I know, and there's so much more. We've spent hours and hours and hours scouring, but I don't know how else to tell anybody else that this is not mine. I didn't generate this. I didn't manipulate this. I didn't alter it. I didn't manufacture it. I received it from the district attorney's office. I then did my job, and I compare it to the report and the investigation of state police, and it is drastic.
Okay, so let me say this. Do you all hear this? Is absolutely crazy, right? Okay, the sweetest one said, I can't believe what I'm hearing. This is so insane. It absolutely is, beloved. And so Joyce says, is it legal for police to tell people what to say? Yes, of course it is, beloved, because first off, it's coercion. The police are not supposed to tell you, like I told you, if you were in court and an attorney was doing it, it's called leading the witness, okay? But it's definitely illegal because this is like a form of witness tampering. That's literally what it is. It's a form of witness tampering or coercion whenever the police are trying to tell a witness what to say. Because here's the thing, the witness has a duty and a right to provide their own truthful accounts of events, their own, and they're not required to give false testimony or even to be forced to give any sort of particular statements that, an officer is telling them. The officer is only supposed to ask for a statement, and they can use different tactics to try to, elicit information or try to compel you to give information, to just tell the truth of whatever you know, but not to compel you to write or say something that is not true as to what you recollect. They're not supposed to do that. And the reason why is because this could be considered coercion, bribery, basically deliberately dictating a statement to a witness, okay? If you're dictating a statement to a witness, which is exactly what he was doing, that could be considered coercion. Okay, or like I said, an attempt to tamper with evidence or, make it however, it can make the statement inadmissible in court if they found this out, right? So it's just all crazy. And it also goes against the Fifth Amendment because the witness may not have even wanted to say a darn thing. They might have wanted to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Okay, they can remain silent, all of that. So no, you're not supposed to tell them anything. And here's the main thing, that the whole thing is that no witness should ever agree to write or say something that they know is false, even if it's under pressure from law enforcement. And if you do, if the police make you feel that you need to or you're going to be in trouble, what you do is if you do feel compelled to write it, just keep from going to jail or whatever they're scaring you about, whatever, you put in under duress. Okay, under duress. Because that means that lets whoever is a reader, whoever receives that information know that you didn't do this of your own will. You were forced or coerced. Somebody persuaded you to do it. They made you feel threatened in some way. Okay, so that's what you do at the end of the day. This is all so crazy, but let's continue. Now I'm gonna speed up a little bit so we can move on to the next topics. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit further down. Okay.
We had no idea what a result would be on her end. No clue.
Mm-hmm.
We just knew it was being done. They didn't sit on it for, some amount of time. They worked it thoroughly, but in the time manner that they could. And they set it for grand jury just like they promised. So we couldn't have asked for more from a office who has always been and will always be just extremely fair. Right. That's all you can ask for. There's no fault on their part. There's certainly no fault whatsoever on the part of Mr. Hall. That's a wonderful family. Believe me, it's not easy for me to get up here right now. There's a man who passed away other than Kyren Lacy, and his life was just as important as Kyren Lacy.
And that was one thing I regretted. And I would tell the family that I didn't spend enough time talking about Mr. Hall. He's deceased, and just
that's
paying our respect.
I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there, beloveds. Very, very sad. Okay, that is so sad and heartbreaking. And, like I said, prayers and condolences to the young man's family. I wish that he was still amongst us so he could be, pursuing his dreams, his NFL hopes and dreams and all of that. But sadly, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't Shannon Sharp go in on that young man? I could have sworn that there was a time when Shannon Sharp was going in on him, rushing to judgment. And I find it interesting because after all that he went through, did he want anyone rushing to judgment? I don't think so. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Remember, you heard it here first. At the end of the day, the family is absolutely going to sue. That's why they have an attorney, and they're going to sue for wrongful death, because that's what that is. The police lied on him. He's no longer here because of lies they told and how they tried to frame him and how they ruined his life. Okay? The family's going to sue them for wrongful death. All right. And I'm going to tell you why they can sue for that, because there's different elements for a wrongful death claim. You see, to be successful in this type of lawsuit, you got to, first of all, have duty of care. Okay. And there was the duty of care, which means the officer owed a duty of care to the person who is now deceased. Okay. Breach of duty. The officers breached the duty through negligent or intentional actions. In this case, it was definitely intentional. He was intentionally lying, intentionally fabricating the report, intentionally telling the witness what to say, coercion, tampering with evidence. That's what that was. And then damages. The family suffered damages as a result of the loss of Kyren. Okay? So that loss only can be compensated by financial support. They can't bring him back. So yes, that's exactly how that goes. Okay? That's exactly how that goes. And they're going to win. They're going to win. Joy said, thank you, Queen. They had me confused. Oh, you're welcome, beloved. You're welcome. OG Patrice said, yes, Shannon Sharp did. I thought he did. I thought I remember that. OG Patrice said Kyren's attorney cried. Bet he did, honey. That's a very sad story. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's move on because we got to talk about all these crazy fanatics out here, okay, all in love with Charlie Kirk to the tune of taking people out. I want you all to pay attention because now there lies 3 dead people over Charlie Kirk. I want you all to pay attention. Now, I'm not blaming Charlie Kirk. I'm blaming the radical right, who's always trying to act like it's the radical left. I want you all to pay attention. Okay, so let's get into that. Because what I find interesting is that, well, first of all, before we get into the deaths, let's talk about that dude, Breland Hollyhand. You all remember him, don't you? The little Charlie Kirk wannabe who said that he's going to be going around on a 10 college tour and all of that, called One Conversation at a Time. Do you all remember that? So this young man, he just got caught up in a sting. He got busted telling lies. So let's talk about it. Braylon, I knew you were going down for the counts. Okay, I knew you were going down for the counts, beloved ads. And, no surprise. So here's what happened. So the Daily Beast took it upon themselves to play a trick on him, basically. So they called him, if I'm not mistaken, it was about 3 or 4 in the morning when I was reading this, and I was a little sleepy, so I may not have comprehended everything per se, but I have the receipts here, so don't worry. So basically, it's something like they basically reached out to him to see if they could get him to come to a college and what they needed to do and all of that. So he let them know right off the roof, y'all got to pay me my coins. All right? I know I said I'd do it for free for the love of Charlie Kirk, but I'm gonna need $7,500 right off the bat and board and expenses and all that. Okay, this is what this dude said. All right, now he was just riding in a private jet the other day, and here's the thing that I find so crazy. So he's talking about he's going around to these college campuses, right? Bottom line is, dude, you're riding in a private jet, wearing a Rolex. Do you think that you can really resonate with these kids you're going to talk to? Do you think you relate to them, sir? Because I guarantee you don't. Okay? I guarantee you don't. This dude doesn't know a thing about struggle. He's never had to work a hard day in his life. He was born into money with a whole silver spoon, sir. Okay? I don't think you're the one that needs to be trying to do anything. That's just my assessment. Okay? That's just my assessment. Perplex said, wait, Queen don't miss nothing, do you? I pay attention, beloved. See, that's why I always be telling you all, pay attention. Now let's get into it because he really got busted. I find it all interesting. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so we can check out this report from CBS. Let's get into it. And here's the thing. Now, before I show that, where he got busted, I'm going to show you the video that he did where he was reflecting on his past with Charlie Kirk. Let me make sure this is the one I want. Yeah, I'm going to show you all a couple of videos. I just want you all to see what a little geek this little dude is. Okay, it's just like a little nerd. I'm not clowning him for that. There's nothing wrong with being a nerd. I'm just saying it's just funny the way he puts on. He's very dramatic in his actions and things, and everything is so like forced. That's just my opinion. But you all tell me what you think.
On Sunday, a massive memorial service scheduled for conservative activist Charlie Kirk. President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, all among the scheduled speakers for the service. Is going to take place at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. Brylan Hollihan's a popular political commentator, best-selling author of the book One Generation Away, has joined us several times. Brylan, good to see you once again. Sorry that it's under circumstances like this.
Good to see you. I appreciate you having me. Good to be back with your audience.
So Brylan, Kirk had quite the impact on you. You've written and spoken quite a bit about this, but he clearly impacted your life and really what you're doing now, didn't he?
Yeah, Charlie was one of my closest friends in a business that you don't have a lot of friends. He was a mentor for close to a decade. So I first got started in politics at 11 years old in the 4th grade. And a lot of people wouldn't come on my podcast in the 4th grade, I'll be honest with you. Couldn't get local city council members, couldn't get local politicians. But Charlie was coming through town to speak at the University of Alabama. And I DM'd him on social media, said, Charlie, is there anybody who can give me 10 minutes? He DM'd back and said, Brown, I'll give you 30. And he came on the podcast. And the last piece of advice he gave me in the closing of the interview, I said, Charlie, what can you do to inspire a generation? We want to get involved, but we don't know how. He said, Brylan, the Democrats will always out fundraise us, but they will never all work with me. And I'll stay up as late as I need to. I'll wake up as early as I need to. We'll put all the work in to save this country. And that's the way Charlie lived his life. That's what he did.
So has the reaction to his death surprised you?
Not at all from our generation. We're seeing a revival sweep across this country. Conservatism was already cool again because of the last election, but so many people understand the stakes. This is no longer red versus blue. This is good versus evil. People are getting off the sidelines. And you know, what's been really clear here is you can kill a man, but you can't kill a movement.
You told me before we went on air a bit of an announcement to make. So what kind of announcements? How is this impacting you as you kind of move forward?
Yeah, this morning we're announcing that I am partnering with Turning Point USA to launch the One Conversation at a Time tour. They'll be sending me to 10 college campuses across this great nation to speak to the next generation, louder than ever before, bolder than ever before. And 4 of those college campuses are right here in my home state of Alabama. And October 9th, we'll be doing that at the University of Alabama. So I'm excited to see your audience there.
Now, and that role and kind of an increased role, I guess with him now gone, other individuals like yourself going to have to step up to take up that void, I guess, from his past.
I mean, the coward that assassinated my friend last week attempted to shut our generation up. If anything, he woke us up. And yes, this is a scary time. Yes, I'm aware of the hundreds of death threats that my team is flagging for me. We will be having security, but we can't cower and we can't be silent and we can't be afraid. And so we have to boldly go to these places and champion civil discourse, what Charlie is doing. So no, do I want to do this? Do I want to hold a microphone and stand on the stage on a campus? I understand the risk, but we're doing it for Charlie.
Well, Brylan, we appreciate you being with us. And again, that service is taking place Sunday. The president, vice president, many others going to be there. Brylan Hollihan, it's always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
I would call myself an entrepreneur.
Now he needs to sit down somewhere, okay, as far as I'm concerned. He sound robotic. He seemed like that was extremely rehearsed. Somebody said he stole that quote that he said. Of course he did. Okay, Israelite said absolutely no charisma. That's what I'm y'all are going in hard in the paint. Israelite said absolutely no charisma, and then Tylene said seems like a jerk. Y'all are terrible. Leave that poor young man alone, honey. He has been through the struggle. Yeah, right. Okay, let's go into this next one because this one was right, exactly dangerous. That's what I said earlier. So contrived. It absolutely is. Okay, so forced. All right. Reggie said he steals everything. I bet he does. Let's go to this next one because this is one that tickled me. This is even worse. I mean, it's the dramatic of the drama of it all for me.
Commentator and college freshman Brylan Hollihan, and he is a close friend of Charlie, and he's been in touch with the Kirk family.
First of all, what kind of name is that? I literally have never heard that last name. Hollihan sounds nefarious. Is all I'm saying. Brylan Hollihan.
All day long. Brylan, thanks for being with us here today. Brylan, you've been with me before, Brylan. I apologize, first of all, for the mispronunciation. I also am very sorry for this day. I know you have a relationship with Charlie and his family, and I'm glad you could be with us here today. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, thank you for having me. Extremely heartbroken, extremely shaken up. Charlie Kirk was one of my closest friends in this business, in a business where we don't have a lot of friends. That seems so lonely at times. Charlie Kirk was my mentor. I've talked to him just in the last 2 days. He was so excited about going to Utah, so excited to get back on college campuses. Charlie Kirk was a walking, talking beacon of hope, Will. I know you know that. And I want to be really clear to your audience that the only reason that Donald Trump is sitting in the Oval Office this afternoon is because of Charlie Kirk and because of Charlie Kirk's tireless work ethic. Charlie and I first met in the 4th grade when I started my podcast, and not a lot of people wanted to go on a 4th grader's podcast, but Charlie took a chance on me when he didn't have to. And I want to tell you my favorite Charlie story that just kind of brought a smile to my face.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot I muted myself. You all see this? The date, this is 3 weeks ago. Now, why am I telling you when this was done? Well, because this is the same day that Charlie Kirk passed away. They had the date up there, September the 10th. So you mean to tell me this is hours after the man passed away? Hours. There's no description in the video. I bet there isn't. This is hours after that man passed away. Sorry, can somebody make that make sense? I mean, if it was somebody that I loved and revered so, who mentored me and, taught me since the 4th grade, I think that I would hardly or scarcely be able to speak publicly. And why would I want to, even if I could? Shouldn't I be somewhere with my head in my hands? Okay, they started the campaign right away. I just want you all to pay attention. The whole thing with the funeral looking like a whole, political campaign production. Very theatrical with fireworks and all of that. All right, now here he is sitting up here hours later, ready to take over. Okay, ready to fill in to replace the man. It's very strange, is all I'm saying. Very, very strange behavior. But they want to talk about the left.
A moment ago as I was thinking of it again. I asked Charlie after the interview, I said, Charlie, you're such a huge figure. What advice do you have for an 11-year-old like me? And he said, Brylan, the left may have all the money in the world, but they can never outwork me. I will wake up as early as I need to. I will stay up as late as I need to, and I will never stop fighting for this country. And that was so many years ago. And we'll spend this week remembering Charlie and remembering his legacy. And a lot of people have a lot of things to say about the impact that Charlie had on this nation and on the youth movement and getting Gen Z off the sidelines. But I just want your audience right now to remember Charlie as a family man, as a man who, even during the election cycles, all of us were crisscrossing the nation, still took the time to take a Sabbath, still took the time to turn his phone off on Sundays, to go to church with his kid, to go to church with his wife. And those are the people I'm thinking of right now. His amazing wife, Erica, his 2 young children. Well, what do you say to them now? Do you say,
let me tell you all something. That young man right there is going to be a no good politician. I want you all to pay attention. No, that's not a teleprompter. I am 50 Gold said that's a teleprompter. Honey, I bet you that is him. He memorized what he was going to say, beloved. He doesn't need a teleprompter for this. I guarantee you this young man had this written for him and he's memorized it, or he may have come up with it himself. But nonetheless, this young man is going to be in politics. Watch. Or be one of those evangelists. Okay, sounding like Billy Graham and Jimmy Swaggart or somebody. I'm telling y'all what he's gonna be doing. This is all nefarious. Okay, Queen, there's dirt and mud on Erica. It's juicy, honey. I told you about that. You must have missed it. I'm the one that told y'all about the dirt in the first place. I just didn't speak about it when I first heard about it, beloved, because I said it was inappropriate. Because it was so quick after Charlie passed away that I got the information. Okay, so I just thought, I don't know, just being the nice person that I can be, I'll just wait. And that's what I did. But I talked about that last week. We already know what they said about her, honey. Inquiring minds wants to know truths. Okay, so anyway, let's keep going because this is all a hot mess as far as I'm concerned.
that Dad went to speak on a college campus, a place of free expression, and he never came home? And you know this. I've been with Charlie at dozens of these speeches. He goes and he opens a microphone, and the first thing that he says to his audience is, if you disagree with me, come to the front of the line. Please have a conversation. This person that clearly disagreed with him could have saved all this by talking. Well, if anything, I hope that this pisses us off so much that we start talking again, because I'm outraged that we are living in a nation where civil discourse is bygone. on. And if anything, Charlie would want us to have conversations. That's what he lived his life doing.
Wonderful sentiments, Brian. It really is. And you're absolutely right. The thing to remember in this moment is exactly how I think Charlie would want to be remembered, and that is as a family man. And our thoughts and our prayers are with Erica and his 2 children. And he was a man of God, Charlie. He was a believer. And as a previous guest said, that should give us some solace of hope and some peace about where Charlie is today. His destination was always known.
I know he did.
And that's now where Charlie is. It's also an incredible story that you share with us really quickly, Brillin, about 4th grade, a podcast. That's incredible. And Charlie Kirk appears on your podcast. Tell me about the role he played for you as a mentor.
Yeah, again, it's somebody that didn't have to do that. He was on Fox News every other hour that year. He didn't have to make time for me as an 11-year-old with this upcoming podcast in the 4th grade to come on and join me, but he did. And not only was it a one-time thing, I've interviewed hundreds of people.
Did y'all catch that? Please tell me y'all caught it. Say what now? Did you all catch that, beloveds? I'm sorry. Say who? Did y'all catch what he just said? Somebody let me know. We're going to stop right here because I want to see if y'all paid attention. Did y'all hear what he just said? Durrani said, don't put God in this mess. I know that's right. He talked about that gives them some solace in knowing where Charlie is right now. Honey, where do you think Charlie is, honey? And where do you think you're going? It gets me when these racist devils just think they're going straight to heaven. Child, y'all don't sit down somewhere, honey. You might be going to God. I'm not even going to lie. But I don't know what God you're going to, but it isn't my God. That's all I'm saying. But check this out. DeCarlo said Joel Austin carbon copy. I'm sorry. Joel Austin better than them. Joel Austin is a motivational speaker plus a minister. More so of a motivational speaker to me. Joel Austin has good talking points. This right here, he needs to sit down. That's all I'm saying. But hold on. Did y'all catch what he said though? I'm going to rewind it and I want you all to pay attention and let me see if you're smarter than a 5th grader. And see who caught what I caught. I literally just caught what this dude said. Hold on. I'm going to scroll back like a few seconds. Now watch this. You got to learn how to peep game, folks.
It's somebody that didn't have to do that. He was on Fox News every other hour that year. He didn't have to make time for me as an 11-year-old with this upcoming podcast in the 4th grade to come on and join me, but he did. And not only was it a one-time thing, I've interviewed hundreds of people that I've never talked to again.
I know y'all caught it that time, right? I know y'all caught it that time, right? No, not that he said man of God, because we expect them to say that because that's your talking point. Y'all didn't catch that he said he didn't have to come on there and make time for me as an 11-year-old in the 4th grade with a podcast. Dude, what the hell are you doing 11 years old in the 4th grade? Because I'm sorry, sir, but when I was 11 years old, boo-boo, I was in the 6th grade, baby. And when I was in the 4th grade, I was 9. Okay, I was 9 in the 4th grade, and 11, I was in the 6th, sir. What are you talking about? You just told on yourself. So, sir, you must not be that smart. So that best-selling book, who wrote it for you? Chat GPT or somebody that your dad paid? But let me continue. I just thought, okay, I just wanted y'all to peep that. He said that real quick, but I caught it. All right, I caught it. 11 in the 4th grade. Sir, I'm gonna need you to sit down somewhere. All right, that's what I'm gonna need you to do. But you want to go talk to kids on college campuses? No, sir.
I had a mentor, and he texted me up until this week when I was on another Fox show congratulating me. Like, he didn't have to do that. He could have viewed me as competition. He could have said, oh, I'm not going to give this kid time. But he did. And what I think the larger theme here is the left loves to preach tolerance. They love to preach tolerance. And in situations like this, that's the last thing we're seeing. The media coverage on the other side of the aisle is not like this. I was just scrolling.
Now, I want you all to pay attention. This dude is 19 years old. They've been grooming or prepping him, whatever you want to call it, since he was in the 4th grade at the age of 11, no less. And that wasn't a slip of the tongue. I'm going to tell you why I know that wasn't a slip of the tongue, because I literally heard him on another interview. He was saying, or he was talking on some other video that I saw, and he literally said that he met Charlie Kirk when he was 11. So he didn't accidentally say that. That's how old he was when he met that man. So that means that he absolutely was in the 4th grade with that podcast when Charlie Kirk came around. Okay? They just said, "Are you smarter than a fourth grader?" Okay, right. That's what I should have said. This is all nefarious. All right. We the people said he flunked before. Not flunked. When's the last time anybody heard that word? Not flunked. Reggie said he probably never sat in a classroom. Y'all are wrong. Oh my goodness, y'all are low down. Nene said, "Is he in the 8th grade now?" Oh my goodness, honey. Okay, I hope not. Woo, honey, this is all crazy. What happened to No Child Left Behind, right? Reggie told me he got held back. But honey, what happened to No Child Left Behind? I guess he did, but let me continue.
Going through channels, and obviously the person that took this life, this is heartbreaking, Will, and I really hope, if anything, that people get off the sidelines. This weekend I'm going to a youth rally in South Carolina, and you better believe that I've already had my team shoot me text saying, "Brian, you really need to caution this. You really need to think about not standing in the middle of a park and speak to the next generation." But I am more energized than ever to carry on this torch, to carry on this legacy, because that's what Charlie would have wanted. He would have wanted us to continue to fight the good fight, just like he did.
I am done.
No doubt, Brylan. No doubt. Thank you so much. Our thoughts and sentiments are with you as well today. Thank you.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you all something too that I noticed. I'm going to tell you something that I noticed about this young man. Now, though he is, his talking points seem a little contrived, and he's like a little overly dramatic to me, just with the way he talks or whatever, all the grinning and this and skinning and grinning and a little too much and all that, in my opinion. But one thing I can say is that he's been prepped to do public speaking and to talk with the media. But one thing that he definitely has been prepped to do is carry and to lead the conversation. You see, that's what Charlie Kirk did. That's what Charlie Kirk did when he would debate people. He would lead the conversation. And if you pay attention, when Marlon was on my show, not to keep bringing Marlon up, but when Marlon was on my channel and Marlon was complaining that I wasn't letting him talk, I was letting him talk. A couple of times I did talk over him, not on purpose, but he talked over me a couple of times too. But the thing is this, what I was trying to make sure I didn't do is allow Marlon to carry the conversation, because that's what you're not going to do, boo-boo. Okay, because I know the types. And that's what that young man just did. Did you all not notice the face of the reporter? He was sitting there. He was anxious to say something. It was written all over his face. He was growing a little bit impatient, as a matter of fact, because the kid kept talking and talking. But see, he has been trained to lead the interview. Okay, he's been trained to lead the interview and to carry the conversation. Okay, that was obvious to me. George Licia said they put Charlie Kirk in his body. Well, they harnessed that energy from Charlie Kirk. That's what they did. They literally harnessed his energy. Okay, and if those of you who follow the spiritual channel, you know about destiny swapping and things like that. Okay, because they could have done a little bit of that too. I'm not saying they did, but they could have. Okay, they could have. So that up and said, now let's talk about him getting exposed, honey, and caught up in lies. Oh, it's all nefarious. It's all nefarious. MAGA's next Charlie Kirk got caught in a sting. Breland Hollyhand under fire after a $7,500 speaking fee. But I thought he did it all for free and for the love of Charlie Kirk. All right? And the rights. So I told y'all it was a whole grift. I told y'all it was a whole grift. Okay? Please pay attention. Roddy said that's also a politician move, trying to control the conversation. Exactly. What did I just say? I said this young man's going to be a politician or one of those evangelists like Billy Graham or Jimmy Swagger. That's exactly what politicians know how to do. Okay, that's absolutely something they do. Specifically Trump. Okay, who's a lackluster, even if we want to call him a politician, he's lackluster, but Trump definitely will take over a conversation, try to talk over you and just paint his own narrative, honey, with his nefarious self. Okay, but so let's talk about this, because Breland Hollyhand is a 19-year-old conservative rising star. The GOP and MAGA have been trying to launch him as the replacement for Charlie Kirk, as the new Charlie Kirk. However, right now, Hollyhand is facing backlash after a sting a sting operation revealed that he was that his agent requested $7,500. Okay, yes, he did. I need $7,500 to make you holler. Okay, I get paid to come to your college campus. All right. So this was framed as a speaking fee. Now, travel expenses were to be billed separately. Sorry, say who? They have to pay travel expenses, sir, when you ride in a whole private jet, wearing a Rolex, mind you. Let's not leave that little tidbit out. And the reason I bring up the Rolex is because I find it so interesting how everybody was just hating on, not everybody, but you know, some of the people that don't look like me was clearly hating on Shakur Sanders about driving in nice cars and wearing a nice watch and all that. But meanwhile, we got little old wannabe Charlie Kirk here in a whole private jet, wearing a Rolex, telling these kids that's watching, hey, I'm coming to your college on a 10 college tour, one conversation at a time. So get ready, because here I come. Sir, these kids don't want to hear from you. Okay, they don't want to hear from you. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do after I go through this article is I'm going to go back to that last clip and read some of the comments, okay, just for good measure, because I bet they went in on him. Now, matter of fact, here are some of the comments right here. I don't even have to do it. There's some comments in this article that are posted. Okay, great. So they say that it was framed as a speaking fee, right? And then said that his travel expenses will be billed separately. Now, this amount was quoted for Hollyhand to make a campus appearance. Now, the Daily Beast story reports that the sting was arranged by a group that was pretending. They trolled him. They were pretending to be a college group looking to hire Hollyhand. The agent allegedly returned a quote that said, Breland's charge is $7,500 plus coach class airline and expenses for two. Is this within budget? Now, you know darn well this little dude is not about to fly in no damn coach when he got a whole private jet. I'm going to tell you what really the coach seats is for. The coach is probably for some of his little assistants or whoever comes running behind him to carry his bags and all that stuff. Okay? That's probably what that's all about. You think he's going to ride in coach after we just saw him in a whole private jet? I highly doubt it. Now, Hollyhand has denied public charging for campus appearances, saying that he pays his own travel and accommodations to speak on campus and only charges for large conferences. That's what he said. Okay. Is this a video of him saying it? Hold on. Let me see what this is right here. This is all hilarious, honey. Do y'all hear it? Okay. Anywho, let me continue. But critics counter, pointing to an invoice in which he received $2,191.91 for travel accommodation and food related to a campus event with Penn State's college Republicans. So he already getting caught in lies, you all. Already getting caught in lies. Okay? Desmond said, looking like the rich kid from the Little Rascals. Okay? I am so done. Thank you, Desmond, for that tidbit and for your contribution to the channel. Beloved, peace, love, and blessings. So sitting up here lying already, and they have brought the receipts. So they say, complicating the story, the agent subsequently modified the words, stating that Hollyhand is happy to work with whatever budget is available to bring in a speaker for campus events. Oh, because they must have told him, oh, we don't have no 7,500. All we got is this. So then he was like, okay, yeah, we'll take whatever you got, basically. Okay, so anyway, it goes on to say, this is really very interesting to me. Okay, this is very interesting. So anyway, they go on to say he has been in controversy ever since he came on the scene. So while Kirk was known to begin his journey from grassroots level and had a lifetime of experience with being married and with 2 kids, Hollyhand himself is just a kid. Now, earlier, the Daily Beast has reported that many within the MAGA circle find his approach elitist. He sparked a backlash earlier when he posted a video from a private jet while en route to a campus visit. The video was deemed extremely tone deaf with country club optics. Didn't I tell y'all? I said, honey, these little kids can't, on these college campuses, they can't relate to him. Okay? Born with a whole silver spoon at the end of the day. And so then they have the video. So let's go to that video for those of you who missed it. Because in the video, Breland is sitting here, okay, as Charlie Kirk's successor, sitting in a $10 million airplane wearing a $10,000 Rolex. He is one of the anointed leaders of Turning Point USA. What's wrong with this picture besides everything? Ha! That's what they say. So let's get into it. We got to watch this again, okay? Why not? Why not? Let's watch it again for the love of Charlie Kirk, because this is his replacement, honey. I have several questions. Do they really think they're going to pull this off? I think not.
What's up, America? Brian Hollyhan's here, about 30,000 feet up. We are on the way to Arkansas. So everybody in line at the University of Arkansas to kick off my 10-stop campus tour. We are coming to you right here, right now. Stay in line. We have gotten a third room because we have sold out this campus stop 3 times. But we are coming to you. We will fit you in. Students will get priority, but we will make it happen. I cannot be more excited. We are back. We are on the road. We're coming to you one conversation at a time. If you're not at the University of Arkansas, we're coming to a campus near you soon. So check out my tour dates. We'll see you super soon.
Oh my goodness, his voice is literally cringe. And then when he says, we'll see you, here, I want you all to pay attention. Rich little kids like him, these types, why is everything super? We'll see you super soon. What the hell is super soon? Okay, is that quicker than soon? Somebody let me know. What is super soon, guys? Is that more? Is that faster than soon? I'll see you soon. No, I'll see you super soon. Okay? Beam me up, Scotty. That's what it sounds like. Okay, but anyway, let me continue, honey, because this is all interesting. So anyway, Turning Point USA leaders have now distanced themselves. Listen to this. So now, once he got up there in his little $10 million jet, honey, with his $10,000 Rolex, talking crazy and talking about super soon and all that, and the optics being just terrible, now Turning Point doesn't want anything to do with him. I want y'all to pay attention how they've ditched him already before he even got started good. It says Turning Point USA leaders have now distanced themselves from Hollyhan. They have clarified that his tours and speaking appointments are not officially affiliated with their organization. Well, let that about be. Y'all hear it? Do you hear this? I find it all interesting. No, Turning Point USA. No. Nope. Don't try to kick him to the curb now. Don't try to kick him to the curb now, because this young man just told us, and everybody was in the sound of his voice, that Charlie Kirk had been mentoring him since he was in the 4th grade at the age of 11. Okay? That's what he already said, folks. So don't try to act like, no, don't try to distance yourselves from this young man. You've already promised this young fellow that he's going to be the next Charlie Kirk. All right? So don't snatch his dreams from him just yet. However, the young speaker does have a group of supporters who have argued that some level of funding is needed for him to travel and speak at these events. Okay, he can't help it if his parents are filthy rich and he has a $10 million jet to fly on and wears a Rolex that costs $10,000. They say he still needs to have funds for travel and speaking arrangements. They have argued that if the conservative message has to be spread on college campuses, there needs to be financing and funding. Hollyhan says his attention is only on the engagement and discourse rather than for profit. I am done. But anyway, let's continue. So they say, yet the sting has raised some serious questions over the transparency of the whole operation and whether he will be able to maintain the level of consistency like Kirk. Now, if Hollyhan claims that he has not charged for campus stops and there happens to be records of him benefiting financially from these tours, he could be under extreme scrutiny over financial arrangements and benefits. This will have a direct impact on his brand and how he sees his future in conservative circles. Now, the ball is in Hollyhan's court. It's up to him to come clean with his financial records and disclose his fees and his booking practices, or counter his critics with some more arguments. For young conservative activists watching closely, the episode may serve as a test. Okay, will his brand survive questions about authenticity and money? All right, stay tuned. So let me just tell you what they're saying in the comments about this fellow. Somebody named Rusty Rose said, why are Christian nationalists so creepy? And then somebody says, They killed Charlie. Somebody named Lost and Found says they killed Charlie, and now they're trying to kill his message. Who believes anything blue hair, nose ring wearing scum has to lie about anyways? Wow, they're really going in. They call the poor kid scum. I think that's kind of harsh. I mean, just a little fun jokes is okay, but calling the kid scum. Okay, then they said he looks like I'm not going to say what they said about him, but they say he looks like that man that was over there in Germany. That man with that little mustache. Y'all know who I'm talking about. They say he looks like a little version of him. Okay? The man whose first name is Adolf. But let me continue. Somebody said, nah, more like Beavis and Butthead. Then somebody said, another grifter. Sad. That's what Candyman said. Somebody said, get a life. Quit making money on preaching stuff that's not even in the Bible. These are personal beliefs, not Christ. No, that's right. Somebody had to say it. And then somebody told him he needs to read Galatians 4:2. No, I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 4:2, Galatians 1:6 through 9, and Revelation 22:18 and 19. Okay, I don't know why they said he needs to read them, but I will just to see what they're trying to say. Now, with that all being said, somebody says he is just a counterfeit. He is just a counterfeit as Kirk was. That's what somebody said, honey. This is all nefarious. All right, then somebody said another criminal coming up. Somebody says they're all scammers. They prey on the weak-minded. Okay, another grifter probably another person probably worshiping the MAGA Trinity, wealth, power, and predatory. I'm not gonna say the rest. They going in. Or y'all hear me? They are going in. They are going in. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's move on, honey. They went in on the poor young man. I don't think they should have called him scum. I mean, he's trying to do what he's been trained to do. Actually, this is what they have brought him up since 11 years old. All right, so I don't blame him necessarily. I blame the people around him. Okay, so now with that being said, now let's talk about this man who was a Charlie Kirk fanatic who took the lives of these two beautiful young girls. It is so very sad and heartbreaking. Okay, he was stalking one of them because he didn't like the fact that she didn't want to date him or whatever. And so basically, he ended up plowing them down and taking their lives, and then got online and basically bragged about it. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go.
That's how fast, 70 miles per hour. That's how fast cops say a 17-year-old was driving when he mowed down two teen girls riding on an e-bike. Now, video has surfaced of the suspect shortly after the crash, laughing on a gaming site.
It's the creepy laugh of an accused killer. We're learning new information about 17-year-old Vincent Battaloro, accused of intentionally slamming his Jeep into two best friends as they rode an e-bike. According to just released court papers, police say he was driving 70 miles an hour when he plowed into 17-year-olds Maria Niotis and Isabella Salas. We found this video of Battaloro on a gaming site talking about pranking Maria by sending a pizza to her house. She reportedly had spurned his advances and had filed for a restraining order against him.
Hi, can I place an order for delivery, please? Can I get 2 large pepperoni pizzas? It'll be cash at the door.
He then lets out that demonic laugh. He tells viewers it's all because allegedly Maria had made fun of Charlie Kirk.
Whenever Maria sees the pizza guy come, better think of Charlie Kirk for making fun of his death. Stupid clown.
A fellow gamer asks if he'll drive to Maria's house to watch the pizza be delivered.
I did that the last time, but the mother saw me pull up in the car, and I got tracked, and the police, did what they did.
Badaloro made the video 9 days ago. On Monday, when the two girls were killed, police say Badaloro fled the scene before they found and detained him and issued him an astonishing 15 tickets. But he was not arrested because he claimed it was an accident. The next day, Badaloro went online to express his condolences.
In a neighboring town, unfortunately, two girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash. I wish my sincerest condolences.
On Wednesday, after police discovered his connections to Maria Niotis, he was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Last night, Maria's mother spoke out.
She wasn't just my daughter. She was my best friend, my sunshine.
The families of both victims released a joint statement calling the suspect a coward of a man who had been plotting the attack for months.
Now that is so sad and heartbreaking. Prayers and condolences to the family. Two beautiful young ladies, just lives snuffed out of them. Okay? Their lives just snuffed out of them. That's just a darn shame. Now, before I go to the next video about the memorial and what people are saying on TikTok, I'm going to read this article. Now, I want you to pay attention because this young man, he didn't get arrested at the scene, which I thought was very interesting that he wasn't arrested after murking two people. Okay, so let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. So New Jersey police chief condemns relative, who's accused of stalking and killing two teen girls in a hit and run as he mourns the death of a neighbor. Now, one of his relatives, the person you see in my thumbnail up here on the screen, that officer right there, that's the police chief. This is supposedly his uncle or somebody, which is probably why he wasn't arrested at the scene. They just gave him a bunch of tickets. Okay, so the New Jersey teen charged with mowing down two 17-year-old girls, including one that he was allegedly stalking, is a relative of the local police chief, who is also a close family friend and neighbor of one of the dead cyclists. Now, Westfield Police Chief Christopher Bataloro distanced himself from his distant relative. Oh, now I want you all to pay attention. He distanced himself from his distant relative. You all see the play here? This isn't his darn distant relative. And if it was your distant relative, you wouldn't have to distance yourself because they are already distant. How many of you all deal with distant relatives or even know who they all are? Okay? Y'all see that? But let's continue. So anyway, it goes on to say that he distanced himself from him, right? And says that he was charged with double murder in the killings of 17-year-olds Maria Niotis and Isabella Salas in Cranford, New Jersey on Monday, saying that while social media has made it known that the accused is related to me, he is not my son and not a member of my immediate family. Well, we all know that the immediate family are those who live in your household with you. So anyway, he says, I want to be clear, as loud and as firm as possible, that in no way do my wife, children, or I condone, defend, or excuse the actions that caused this terrible and tragic loss of life. So Niotis and Salas, both students at Cranford High School, were riding an e-bike together when a driver in a black 2021 Jeep ran into them around 5:30 p.m. Monday. Both girls died at the hospital. I hope that they were unconscious and were not just suffering in pain, because to be run over by a car at that rate of speed while you're on an e-bike or whatever, just to be, I'm sure he dragged them along the road in the gravel. And in the summertime, the gravel is hot. Okay, the gravel is hot and that could burn you. So I hope, the reason I know about this is because when I was a little girl, I got run over by a car in the summer and the ground was really, really hot. I just remember that. So luckily for me, the man wasn't speeding. But the bottom line is, I hope they did not endure a whole lot of pain, because this is a horrible way to die. Okay, it has to be. So anyway, both girls died at the hospital. Like many of you, I'm shocked, stunned, and so overwhelmingly distressed beyond belief by this horrific loss of two young ladies, Batalaro said. As a result of this tragic incident, I lost a neighbor, a beautiful, charismatic young lady named Isabella Salas, who I have watched grow up since the day I moved to Cranford. Wait a minute. She was the relative's neighbor? Now that's interesting, because is that how he ever met her in the first place? The police chief said that he and his officers responded to the scene of the crash. Oh, hold on. Nope. I want you all to pay attention. Right here. This officer, this police chief, don't believe a word that he is saying, because now the pieces are coming together. See, I didn't read these articles that I'm reading to you now. I just loaded them up because I wanted to know what he had to say, because I saw the videos. But here's the thing. I saw the video, so I knew basically what happened. And of course, it's all over TikTok. But here's the thing. This officer, this chief of police who claims that he's distant from this person. No, you're not distant from him, buddy. I'm going to tell you why. Because one of the victims was his neighbor. So this dude was likely coming to your house. This dude was probably coming to your house, and that's how he knew them. That's for number one. And for number two, I happen to know, because I did find out that this young man was not arrested at the scene. He was given about 15 tickets, but not arrested. And I was thinking, how in the world was he not arrested when he literally killed two people? And they said that because he told them it was an accident. But no, I said, I don't care if he said it was an accident. How would he not get arrested? But now we see why he didn't get arrested, because here's why. The police chief said that he and his officers responded to the scene of the crash that mortally injured the two girls. So, because they showed up on the scene. So don't try it. Talking about you're so sorry now, you feel so bad for the family. No, you don't. That's why you didn't arrest that dude that's related to you, however he is related to you. And I heard that was his uncle. Now, Batalaro had remained silent until investigators charged a 17-year-old boy with 2 counts of murder on Wednesday, calling for justice for the two teens. Oh, now he's calling for justice. Like, get the F out of here. The suspect has not been named publicly as he's a minor. Okay, so this is before his name got out there. This is what he says, I do unequivocally condemn the actions of the accused. And like you, I demand that he face the consequences of his alleged actions in a court of law. No. Don't try to clean it up now. This is him trying to do damage control, people, because he had no idea that people on the internet, we got sleuths out here in these YouTube streets and in the TikTok streets and all that. These people figured out that this person who did it was related to him. And just like he said it himself. So now this is why he's coming back with all this. But, oh, sir, we happen to now know that you were on scene. So are you the reason he didn't get arrested? If I had to bet, I'd say yes. So anyway, as a law enforcement officer, I maintain full faith and confidence in our criminal justice system and that it will ensure he is held fully accountable. I, too, pray for these families. I, too, demand full accountability and justice. Shut your lying self up. You don't want any justice. That's why you didn't arrest him at the scene. Get the F out of here. Okay, loved ones told local TV outlets that the accused killer was stalking one of the girls who filed a restraining order against the teen. It's unclear which girl took out the restraining order. She made complaints and nothing was done. Okay, that's what the friend Tammy Carbajal said. It's just a tragedy. It's such a tragedy. A neighbor told Fox 5 that the alleged killer parked outside the girl's house for 3 months leading up to this tragedy. Parked outside her house for 3 months. Yeah, and I bet that house was right across the street from this chief of police. Okay? Now, she says he was never stopped, and that's why nothing was done when she filed that restraining order. Now it's all coming to light. This all coming to light, okay? Please miss me with it, Chief of Police Batalaro, okay? The family should sue him for not arresting him in the first place. Well, they wouldn't get anything, but nonetheless, it just ticks me off. Okay, so anyway, goes on to say that, hold on, where was I? She made complaints and he was never stopped. That's what the neighbor said. Now, the grieving police chief says, not the grieving police chief. I'm like, miss me with it. Do y'all hear this BS? The grieving police chief. Like, really laying it on thick. Okay, I'm not buying this with an EBT card. So the grieving police chief says his family was left devastated by the tragedy that violated their hometown, saying, my wife, my children, and I are absolutely heartbroken over the senseless loss of life, but also of the lost feeling of safety and security in the neighborhood and community that you and I call home. Sir, this is your relative. Shut the hell up. This is your relative, sir. We're not falling for it. Bataloro made clear that his job is to remain a man of honor, integrity, and pride. How many officers do that on a regular basis? Please miss me with it. A pledge he took when he was appointed chief in December of 2018. He said, I stand with you, my friends and neighbors, and that I grieve with you and I pray for you. I am here for you. Yeah, okay, sir. You can stop at any moment now. This is all just giving too much. I offer my most sincere, undying love and any support or assistance that I or any Westfield Police Department can provide as we navigate this difficult time. We are stronger together. We will honor the lives and legacies of these two young ladies, Isabella Maria Neotis, together, and we will survive this horrible tragedy together, he concluded. I want y'all to pay attention. This is some real live BS. Yeah, he's not sorry. Exactly, Reggie. Okay, because he would have told the truth and he would have locked his behind up. He didn't get arrested on scene. Like I said, they say he got a bunch of tickets and that's about the size of it. Okay.
There are new details about the deaths of two young girls in New Jersey. It happened earlier this week. Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas, both 17 years old, were hit by a black SUV while riding on an electric bike on Monday. A teenage boy has been charged with murder with operating that vehicle, and there are now claims that he was stalking one of the girls. Lilia Luciano has more.
I'm not standing here today just as a mother, but as Maria's mother.
On Thursday night, the family of Maria Neotis gathered to remember her life.
She had a laugh that could soften the hardest days and a heart that cared deeply for everyone around her.
According to the Union County Prosecutor's Office, Neotis and fellow 17-year-old Isabella Salas were riding an e-bike around a quiet residential area of Cranford, New Jersey, just before 5:30 p.m. Monday afternoon, when they were struck by a car. Law enforcement says after hitting the girls, the driver did not stop and eventually ditched this black SUV. He was later located and taken into custody. Police charged him on Wednesday with 2 counts of first-degree murder. CBS News has identified the suspect as 17-year-old Vincent Batiloro. Friends and relatives of the victims say he was known to the 2 girls, claiming one of them filed for a restraining order against him after he stalked her.
She made complaints and nothing was done. It's just a tragedy. It's just a tragedy.
In a joint statement, the families of the 2 girls called the suspect a coward, claiming he had been planning an attack against Neotis for months.
You wanted to make the world more beautiful, and my darling, you did, just by being in it. And I promise you, your light will never go out.
We reached out to both the Cranford Police Department and the Union County Prosecutor's Office about the alleged restraining order against the suspect, but have not received further information. When asked if they plan to try the suspect as a minor or an adult, the prosecutor's office said that they are exploring all legal options.
All right, Lilia, thank you very much.
Y'all heard that load of BS? Let me say something. The way they answered that lets me know that they don't want to charge him as an adult, because he got a family member that's the whole police chief. I want y'all to pay attention. I'm going to follow this story, because if nobody's paying attention, they'll let it slip through the cracks and they'll do those people dirty just because he needs to pay. Okay? He needs to pay for what he did. Low down, dirty devil. And to think that at the age of 17, this is what he's got on his mind. Depravity starts young with some, right? They're always talking about who raised these young thugs on the corners in our neighborhoods. What about those thugs? They may not be on corners, honey. They may be in nice houses in the suburbs, but thugs nonetheless. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And retired federal banks, thank you, beloved, says Professor. Amazing broadcast. Great work. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words and your contributions to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Now let's see what this devil had to say on this video that he posted. Talking about he comes from a good family and all this, that, and the third.
I've been through way too much. I'm a nice kid. I'm 17 years old with a good family by my side. And these allegations that have been ruining everything is a shame. In a neighboring town, unfortunately, 2 girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash. Now, there has been a lot of misinformation going on over the internet. But I will say this. I wish my sincerest condolences to those 2 girls lost in that tragic accident. Okay? It is an absolute unfortunate situation, and there's more to the story that you're not getting. Making threats against my family will not be tolerated. My cousin has received hateful messages.
Now I want you all to listen to this. He said making threats against his family will not be tolerated. But meanwhile, you killed 2 people who have families as well. But he's talking about making threats against his family will not be tolerated. Now, I don't agree with people threatening his family because they didn't do it. But I'm just curious as to when he says, and I quote, will not be tolerated, what is he going to do? Is he going to run over them too for making threats? I have questions.
Over social media about this whole spiel, and he's had to unfollow me on everything because of this whole drama. I have built a great following on TikTok with 39,000 followers.
So let me say this. You all know who he's talking about, right? He's talking about that police chief. Did you all hear that? He said his cousin's been receiving threats. I just caught on to that. He said his cousin's been receiving threats, and he's had to unfollow him on social media. Now, do you all get it? Didn't I tell you? That is his cousin. The police chief is his cousin. They're closely related. I'm pretty sure he's not no distant cousin like he said. But at the end of the day, well, maybe because of his age, he might be like second cousin or whatever. But the bottom line is he said, my cousin's been receiving threats. And then he said he's had to unfollow me. Yeah, he unfollowed you because he's trying to act like he doesn't have anything to do with you. He's distancing himself. Okay, that's how you know that police chief, like I told y'all, he's not sorry. He's the reason this dude didn't get locked up on site.
That I have grown since 2020. And I want to thank each and every single one of you. I love you all to absolute death. This will be in the hands of Jesus. Everything will be okay. I've been bullied, ridiculed, and stuff over false allegations, okay? Over this whole thing about things that have happened in the past. I really think you all should be a lot nicer to each other. If anything happens, I'm going to give you all some advice, all right? If you get bullied and ridiculed in school about, stuff that people hate you, I would tell your counselor immediately. And, before the gets out of hand, you got to address all these things, because I'll tell you what, the amount of bullying that I've been put through in the past has been absolutely absurd.
Yeah, I heard that, right? Now, let me tell you all something. Daughter of Yah Clothing Purpose said, no, Queen, that's his uncle. Well, he just said it was his cousin, and that's who he's talking about. He literally just said that was his cousin, honey, and that's who he was talking about. Now, it could be his uncle. I don't know, but he just said his cousin had to unfollow him. Who's his cousin? Who's his other family member that will be getting threats? Because as far as anybody knows, the only people that they've been talking about is related to him online was that chief of police. But here's the thing. I just did my due diligence to reassure or to validate the claims that he was not in fact arrested on the night of the crash, and he wasn't. He was detained and questioned by police, then released pending further investigation. What all did y'all need to investigate when y'all see 2 dead bodies and y'all know he was flying down the street? Y'all know he was going about 70. You may not know how fast he was going, but you know he was speeding. due to the impact and the skid marks and all that. Because see, one thing I know about the police is they can assess a scene of an accident, okay, to try to figure out what happened. Now, they may not be 100% accurate because they're not experts at it, but at least enough to know whether or not a person did something or they were speeding. Okay, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, it goes on to say that he was detained for questioning and then let go. And then on the following day, he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in relation to the deaths of the 2 girls. Okay, and facing numerous citations tied to the crash, leaving the scene, reckless driving, driving without a license, didn't even have a license, honey, driving without a license, registration, and insurance. This is all a hot mess. But anyway, let's continue. It's a darn shame. I hope he gets everything that's coming to him and then some. But you know what? They're not going to give him what he deserves because he's a white man, a white dude, and he's 17 years old. Because do you all remember that 16-year-old white dude who murdered 4 people because he was driving drunk, drank a whole 6-pack of beer, so he said, and then hopped into his dad's truck or somebody's and plowed into these people on the side of the road who were working on a car that was disabled, murdered all of them. They gave him probation, said he couldn't leave the state, and then him and his mom went on a trip to Mexico. How about that? And then they claimed their reasoning for him not going to jail or facing, serious charges is because his lawyers argued that he suffered from affluenza. Now, I didn't say influenza like the flu. They said he had affluenza. Y'all heard of that? Said that he was rich, and due to his wealthy lifestyle, he'd never been taught about responsibility. So you mean to tell me, because he was rich and entitled, okay, and had never been criticized or chastised as a kid and spoiled clearly by his foolish parents, that's why you don't go to jail? Make it all make sense. But see, here's the thing. These are the same people that sit there and talk trash about black folk not having a father in the home, saying that you're a single mother out here raising thugs when you got fathers in the home, still raising thugs. So what's up with it? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Got fathers in the home, but still raising thugs, mass shooters, serial killers. What say you? I have questions, but let's continue.
This video has absolutely nothing to do with books, but it's not getting media coverage and it's really starting to upset me. There have been 3 people murdered by the hand of Charlie Kirk supporters. One is Trey Reed. We already knew that Trey was hanging himself from a tree. We already knew that, but the second autopsy confirmed our suspicions that the police department is lying, as well as the university is lying. But we also have 2 young Hispanic females that were murdered by a Charlie Kirk supporter for making fun of his death. And not only did he murder them, but after he did so, he got on stream joking about it. If you haven't been following the Trey Reed case, I highly recommend you go do so because the media is either lying or they're outright not covering the story at all. So go boost, like, share, comment, whatever on those videos to get them released and get them spread to the public because the misinformation, the corruption, the lies, the deceit, and the censorship in this country is running rampant. It's now been made our duty to fix what the hell MAGA is doing to this country because it's not Republicans. There's Republicans that are now Democrat right now because they know the difference between right and wrong. Our problem is MAGA, and that's what we need to fight against.
And no lies detected. Now, because he said that S word, I didn't realize he said that until just now. Because he said that S word, for those of you watching this on the replay, it's not going to have a chat because I'm going to edit it after I'm done, okay, to take that out. But with that all being said, it's just a darn shame. It is just a darn shame. People out here losing their lives over things they had nothing to do with. Very sad.
The mourning continues here in Cranford, New Jersey, where 2 teenage girls were mowed down by a Jeep while riding their bikes on Monday afternoon. And we're learning more about the 17-year-old charged with 2 counts of murder. He has now also been hit with a number of motor vehicle violations, including speeding. He's accused of going 70 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. Violations include speeding, reckless driving, leaving the scene of an accident, failure to report it, and failure to possess a driver's license. Friends of the girls now focusing on them.
You have to go on like nothing happened, even if, like,
your heart's broken.
there's still just like a huge weight on your chest. Yeah.
I knew them both. They were amazing. They were some of the best people I've ever met.
That's so darn sad. Bless her heart. That is so sad. Those girls were only 17 years old. That just really ticks me off. Okay? It's really upsetting. And then he's sitting there on live just talking smack. I mean, the nerve.
Charlie Kirk fans have now killed 3 people after his death. 2 of them were Hispanic teens. And this is the guy who did it. After killing them, he live streamed on his YouTube channel. And now more recently, we find out that Trey Reed was killed by 4 fans of Charlie Kirk. 4 white fans of Charlie Kirk.
Okay, one more video, and then we're out of here, beloveds. Oh, this is all so crazy.
So it's not big news because it doesn't fit in with the radical left's ideas. A right-wing influencer here on TikTok, name of Vincent Ballatoro or something to that effect. I'll post his username here. He was a right-wing influencer, big Charlie Kirk fan. He just ran over 2 teenage girls and killed them. So, as per my previous videos, protect yourselves. Do not trust them. They are all psychopaths, all of them, and don't let them get near you. Protect yourselves. The right wing have lost their ever-loving minds.
And he is not lying. He is not lying. Let me show you all something, though, before I go. I meant to show you all this earlier. This is a post that was on Twitter. I want y'all to see this because I thought it was all hilarious at the end of the day. Like, sub, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. I appreciate you, beloveds. Thank you. I got to show y'all this. Hold on, I'm scrolling to it. Hold on, we almost there. Here it is. Here it is. Y'all got to see this. I find this hilarious. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Please pay attention. Now, you all know how many times I've told you all over the past 5 years that there's no one coming to save us. Okay, it's just us. Y'all know I've told y'all that a myriad of times, right? There's nobody's coming to save us. All right, it's just us. But now look who's saying this. Ha! Now look who's saying it. Isn't it hilarious? Because I think it is. All right, y'all see this? Y'all see this? Ha! Who is that? Yeah. Here's what his sign says. This is the USA. There is no one coming to our rescue if things go sideways. No one will be resupplying us. No one will airdrop food, ammunition, Medicare. There is no place to escape to for freedom. This is it. Nobody will be coming to our rescue. Ha! I find that interesting. And Elon Musk had the nerve to repost it. It's talking about yes. All right. I find that interesting. And you know what? When I reposted it, I said exactly. And I said, welcome to our world. Welcome to our world, okay? Talk about nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's been coming to save Black folk, all right? So welcome to what we've been dealing with. So all I'm saying, that's why I said if Trump or whoever on the right wants to start a civil war, bring it on, okay? Do your worst. All right, because we've been here and we're going to always be here because out of everything that you've done, we still here. okay, through slavery, through Jim Crow, through the Tuskegee experiment, okay, through them spraying gases that's causing people to have serratia morcensis, through sterilizations for 30 years in this country. Did y'all even know that? I bet you didn't. Most of you probably didn't even know that. Okay? That's right. So I want y'all to pay attention. Hey, Michi. All right. So with that all being said, it's time to get up out of here. Donna, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. I see Michi has entered the chat. All right, Michi. Okay, so listen, I'm about to, Black Airman said, baby kids. Okay. Yamel said Joel Osteen wicked as hell too. I mean, he might be, but one thing about it is he can give some motivational speaking. He might be the devil for all I know. I don't know him. But what I will say is he's good at what he does. And I will give credit where it's due. He gives some good talking points when he does his motivational speaking. I almost knocked over my water. But yeah, so anyway, with that all being said, listen, I love you all to life. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of this night. I will see you all in the morning. And listen, you do not want to miss the morning broadcast, because when I tell you, it's going to be juicy. Okay, it's going to be juicy. I'm not going to tell y'all what it's about, but it's going to be juicy. I promise you that. It's not going to be about Trump, because I'm going to talk about Trump tomorrow evening. This story right here, yeah, we're going to talk about this first thing in the morning. I've been gathering receipts. You all. All right? By the trickling of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Who's that a quote from? First one, put it in the chat. You got 30 seconds. I'll send you a spiritual ebook. Who is that a quote from? 30 seconds. I'm counting down now, because don't try to Google. With that all been said, Reggie said, juicy. Exactly. Black Arrow said, Queen, we love you. And I love you, all right, Black. Okay? So with that all being said, everybody enjoy this night. Each one, Dangerous says, Joe Osteen is full of it. I mean, I'm not saying he is. He probably is. All of these mega pastors probably are full of it, in my opinion. But like I said, Joe Osteen has good talking points. Like, that's probably why he can be so nefarious, if that's what you think he is. Okay? So Reggie said Hamlet. Not Hamlet. Okay? Not Hamlet. Nope, Reggie, that ain't it. That is a novel by Ray Bradbury. All right. So anyway, on that note, I'm out of here. You all enjoy the rest of this night. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Okay. I love you all to life, and I will see you all in the morning. Until next time, beloveds. Peace.
With that soul all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin? God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got